When I was 14, I went to see a school friend at his house, and he showed me a new shotgun that he'd got. Unfortunately, while he was showing it to me, it went off and shot me at point blank range. Obviously, I spent the next 4 days fighting for my life, but I survived. Now, I'll tell you this story because when I came out of hospital at such a young age, and after such a near-death experience, the world had changed. I found school inane and boring. So when I was 15, I left school, bought a ticket to Australia, and went off and started living my life. And the good thing about that was I lived my life to the max. I took every opportunity. I tried everything out. I had no fear, and I achieved a lot. 30 plus years later, I had a beautiful wife that I've been with for 30 years, 2 wonderful children, businesses, and I'd become quite a success. The problem is that feeling wore off, and I found myself bored with my life again, grumpy and unfulfilled. It all changed 3 years ago when my father rang me up and said, "Craig, I'm unwell." So I flew down to see him, and turned out he had cancer. I spent the next 6 or 8 weeks nursing my father in my home until he died. And I learnt a lot sitting by his bedside. In fact, I held his hand when he died. And the thing that I learnt from my father was that he was full of regret of all the things he wanted to do and he never did. And it took me back to when I was 14 and I nearly died. You see, I came out with that automatic feeling of living my life, and I'd stopped doing it. So I made a list. You'll have to excuse me, I'm walking uphill. It's quite steep. The first thing on that list was buy a decent chunk of land. And as you can see around me, I did just that. In fact, I bought 100 acres. The second thing on that list was enjoy my work more. You see, I'd become quite grumpy. I'm working hard, trying to be successful, but I actually wasn't enjoying my days at work, running my businesses. And that's a choice. You spend a lot of time at work. My father said to me, he spent far too much time at work grumpy. So, no matter what happens, no matter how a customer treats me, no matter how an employee or anybody, I don't let it bother me. I'm there to enjoy myself. The third thing was to spend more time with my family. So my son works for me now. My daughter's quit her job, she's come to work for me. And we spend a huge amount of time out here on the farm together. In fact, we spent weeks over Christmas and I thoroughly enjoyed it. My son's 28, my daughter's 20, she'll kill me now, 23. And it was fantastic. The fourth thing was to start a non-IT business. And the reason why I chose that was that IT used to be fun and cool when I started 25 plus years ago, because everyone was working together to build an industry. But it's not like that anymore. It's a big industry full of a lot of people that don't always see, it's not collegiate. We're not all working together to build something new. So I wanted to do that again. When I first bought this property and I wanted to put the power on, they told me that it was going to cost between $50,000 and $90,000 to get the power on. So I decided to build my own off-grid power solution. It was actually quite difficult to find the parts and work out how they fit together and how they work. So after all that, I decided, why don't we build a business that helps people do that? DIY solar. We called it Grid Free, and it's been a runaway success. We started it last year and the kits are selling like crazy. So that was a fantastic result. And again, it took me back to that young kid that walked out of hospital, and when he had an idea and he wanted to do something, he just went at it, because life is for living. And let's face it, getting shot at point blank range means that all the years I've had since have probably been on borrowed time anyway. But lastly, the fifth thing that I wrote on that list was, this is something my father regretted as well: leave something behind. And this is the one that I've been pondering on, because I've decided that I'd write these 5 things and give myself 5 years. Well, it's 3 years since Dad died, and so I've achieved the first 4, but to leave something behind I've struggled with a little bit. I think what I'd like to do is maybe build some great architecture, give the world back some great technology, but what I'm really starting to wonder is, should I leave this great property behind? I'd love to plant it with more bush and improve it, maybe put the great architecture on this farm. I haven't made a decision yet, but I've got 2 more years. The reason why I'm doing this video is I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people my age that are going through this same conundrum, that have not been as fortunate as me to be nearly killed as a young man, or nurse your father until he passes away and get that information firsthand. I don't know why we get comfortable in our lives, and I don't know why we decide that we're going to be grumpy all the time, or we don't achieve the things we want. But maybe this video from me might inspire you to get out there and make your list of 5 things and see if you can achieve them in 5 years.